Have you ever had someone in your life who gave you chills, but you couldn't quite explain why? Someone who seemed charming on the outside, but left you feeling confused, emotionally drained, or even afraid. Here's the truth most people never tell you. Psychopaths walk among us. They don't wear masks. They don't all look like serial killers. Some of them smile, shake your hand, and pretend to care, while silently tearing your life apart from the inside. In this video, we're diving into 5 chilling signs you might be dealing with a psychopath. These signs aren't just unsettling. They're psychological red flags you can't afford to ignore. If you stick with me to the end, you'll walk away armed with the knowledge to protect yourself, and maybe even save your mental health, your relationships, or your life. Let's begin. Sign 1. They imitate empathy, but never feel it. At first glance, a psychopath can seem like the most emotionally intelligent person you've ever met. They say the right things. They mirror your emotions. They listen closely, lean in, and nod at the perfect times. But behind those carefully practiced gestures, there's nothing. No genuine empathy, no real emotional connection, just performance. Psychopaths are master manipulators because they study emotions like a science. They don't feel them the way we do. They observe them, copy them, and weaponize them. They use empathy as a tool to gain your trust, to get under your skin, and to control your perception of who they are. You might find yourself thinking, wow, they really understand me. But over time, the illusion starts to crack. You'll notice that in moments of your deepest vulnerability, they're oddly cold. When you're hurting, they may offer sympathy, but it's hollow, empty words, no true support. Or worse, they might even twist your pain against you later. This is the first chilling sign: simulated empathy. A psychopath knows how to cry, but doesn't actually feel the tears. They can say, "I love you," and not mean a single syllable of it. It's all part of the act. And the more you believe it, the more power they gain over you. Stoic philosophy teaches us to remain anchored in truth, not illusion. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present." Use reason. Pay attention! Don't let charm blind you. Real empathy can be felt. Fake empathy can only be performed. If someone always seems to get you too quickly, too perfectly, take a step back. Ask yourself, do their actions match their words? Do they show up when it counts? Or do they vanish behind a cold smile when things get real? Sign 2. They charm first, then isolate you. Psychopaths are charismatic. They walk into a room and seem to own it. They draw you in with confidence, wit, and mystery. At first, it feels electric. You feel chosen, special, like you finally met someone who sees you. But that charm, it's a trap. Once you're hooked, the next stage begins: isolation. Slowly, subtly, they start cutting you off from your support system. Friends seem toxic. Family suddenly doesn't get you. Anyone who questions their behavior becomes the enemy. They'll say things like, "I just want you to myself," or "Why do you listen to them? You know I care about you more." It feels flattering at first, but soon you're alone, vulnerable, dependent. This is where the abuse begins. Not always physically, but emotionally, psychologically. They control the narrative. They rewrite your reality. And with no one left to call it out, they become your entire world. Stoicism reminds us, he who is brave is free. And to be brave, you must first see clearly. If someone's love or friendship isolates you from others, that's not connection, it's control. Real love doesn't shrink your world. It expands it. Watch for the person who sweeps you off your feet and away from your life. Because sometimes the most dangerous people aren't the ones who hurt you outright, but the ones who make you feel like you chose to surrender. Sign 3. They create chaos and blame you for it. A psychopath thrives in chaos. It's where they feel most powerful, so they create it subtly, constantly. They pit people against each other. They twist your words. They provoke reactions, then call you crazy for reacting. You'll find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do, or defending yourself against accusations that make no sense. This tactic is called gaslighting, and it's brutal. Over time, your self-esteem crumbles. You question your memory, your judgment, even your sanity. And that's exactly what they want. Because the more confused you are, the more they can control you. You may notice a pattern. Every time something goes wrong, somehow you become the villain. They never take responsibility. It's always your fault or someone else's. Meanwhile, they play the victim. Why do you always assume the worst about me? I can't believe you're doing this to me. The Stoics taught that we must be anchored in reality, not perception. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But gaslighting flips that. It makes you suffer in a reality you didn't create. If every conversation ends with you apologizing, if you're always the one doubting yourself, you might be dealing with a psychopath. Run. Sign 4. They have no sense of guilt or remorse. A psychopath doesn't just hurt people. They never feel bad about it. They can lie to your face, ruin your reputation, betray your deepest trust, and sleep like a baby. Not a second thought. No shame, no regret. You might try to appeal to their conscience. You might cry, scream, beg for understanding. But you'll be met with a blank stare, a smirk, or worse, a mocking laugh. That's because remorse requires a conscience, and that's something a psychopath simply doesn't have. Even when caught red-handed, they deflect. They double down. They might pretend to be sorry, but only to regain control, not because they actually care. Stoicism teaches us to master ourselves, but also to recognize what is beyond our control. You cannot force someone to feel guilt. You cannot awaken a conscience in someone who never had one. So don't waste your time trying. When someone constantly hurts others, feels nothing and justifies everything, don't try to fix them. Get away from them. Sign 5, they wear a mask. Until it cracks, a psychopath lives behind a mask. One of confidence, kindness, maybe even success. But that mask is just that, a mask. And eventually, it slips. You might catch them in a lie they can't explain. You might see a flash of rage behind a smile. You might hear them speak about others with chilling coldness. And in that moment, you'll realize the person you thought you knew doesn't exist. Psychopaths are shapeshifters. They become what you want until they get what they want. Then the real face emerges. Sometimes it takes months, sometimes years, but eventually the truth comes out. Your job is to notice. As Epictetus said, appearances are not always to be trusted. You must train your inner eye to see beyond the surface, to feel what your intuition is screaming, even when your mind tries to rationalize it away. If someone seems too perfect, too smooth, too on all the time, be cautious, because when the mask slips, it won't be pretty, and by then it might be too late. Conclusion, the truth is chilling, isn't it? That someone can walk among us, laugh with us, love us, or pretend to, all while hiding the darkest parts of human nature beneath a smile. But here's the empowering part. You can see it. You can learn to recognize the signs. You can arm yourself with wisdom, with awareness, with the strength to walk away before the damage is done. Stoicism doesn't just teach us how to endure hardship. It teaches us how to discern, how to sharpen our inner vision, so we don't fall prey to illusion. It reminds us that our peace, our sanity, and our soul are worth protecting. So if you recognize these signs in someone you know, trust your instincts. Take your power back. Distance yourself, protect your boundaries, and surround yourself with people who love you with honesty and empathy. And if this video helped open your eyes, even a little, I ask you to share it. Someone out there might be silently suffering under the influence of a psychopath. This could be the wake-up call they desperately need. Don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing insights, rooted in ancient wisdom and modern psychology. Drop a comment below if you've ever experienced something like this. Your story might help someone feel less alone. You deserve peace. You deserve truth. And most of all, you deserve to be free. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and never ignore the red flags again.